Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. Last time we learned how to use conditions and Boolean logic in our program. Today we continue working on the same project and we will find out what is the loops in Visual Basic. So why do we need loops? Imagine you want to display numbers from 1 to 100. Of course you could write 100 lines of code, but it's too much easier to write one line that repeats itself the required number of times. So let's update our program. First, I will add a list box to our form. The list box will display the results of our loops. Then I double-click the form to open the form load event. Before we start, let's clear the list in case it already contains something. So I will type listbox1 dot items dot clear. Now let's add our first loop. For I as integer equal 1 to 20. Then next line, listbox1 dot items dot add, and inside parentheses the variable I. And we will finish the loop with the keyword next. We can also set a step value. For example, if I type step 2 right here, then the program will increase the variable by 2 each time the loop runs. By default, if we don't specify the step, Visual Basic increases the value of I by 1. Now let's run the program and check. As you can see, the program added the numbers to our list box. A for loop runs through a specific range. Once I becomes greater than 20, the loop stops. Now let's combine the loop with a condition. Let's show only even numbers in our range. We will use the mod operator to check the remainder of division. The loop stays the same. We are only adding a condition. So I will type here if I mod 2 equals 0, then listbox1 dot items dot add, and inside the parentheses the variable I. And after that I will add and if. Let's test it. Now we only have even numbers. That's perfect. Let's add a new button to the form. Then I double click it to open its code. And I will write something like dim result as string. Let's create one more loop. So I will type for each item in listbox1 dot items result equal result, then the character and item dot toString, then again the character and inside the double quotes I will put comma and one space. On the new line I will type next, and then t1.text equal result. So what did we do here? We created a string variable, then used a loop to add every item from the list box into that string, and separated items by commas. And don't forget, we must include the previous value of the result. Otherwise, only the last item will appear. We could also write this line like result, then the character and equal, and then we just write like item dot toString and others. This is the same meanings, but it's a little shorter. Now, if I run the program and click button 3, we will see all list box items as a comma separated string inside T1. Now let's try a different type of loop. Loops with conditions. I will comment out the previous code in form1 load. To add a comment, I simply put a single quote at the beginning of the line. Do while loop will run as long as its condition is true. So let's write dim x as integer equals 0. Do while x less than 5. Listbox1 dot items dot add, and inside the parentheses the variable x. On the next line, x equal x plus 1. And then loop. Or we could write x plus equal 1. That's the same meanings. This loop will keep adding numbers while x is less than 5. Be careful here if the condition is always true. For example, if I remove this line that increases the x variable, I will create an infinity loop. The program will freeze because x will always be less than 5. If your program ever gets stuck, you can stop the executing. Just use the stop button. There is one more conditional loop. Do until loop. Do until loop runs while the condition is false. Let's modify our example. So I will just change one line. Do until x equal 5. This time the loop continues until x becomes 5. That's actually the same result, but just a different way to think about it. The most important thing to remember with loops: first, they must eventually stop. And second, do not create infinity loops by accident. Just be careful and always pay attention on the conditions of the loop. Thank you for watching the video to the end. And as a little reward, here are some images of what a panda line might look.